we're gonna talk about is the SST meeting, it's student support or study team? Student
Yes.
support team?
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about in general about the student support team, and then we'll talk about what is the system in this school. And so let's start. So what makes up the student support team?
Okay. In this school, the student support team is typically the counselor
Mhm.
of the student, as well as all of the teachers that the student has. If there's a ELL teacher or a learning support teacher, they're also involved with the student support team. And then one of the administration, typically here in the school, it's the assistant principal, Noel.
Oh, okay. So, what about like if the school have like the psychologist and other, it could be one of the.
Yeah, so in the SST, sometimes it's recommended that the student might see a psychologist in order to determine if there is some sort of learning disability. It's sometimes recommended, however, the parents are always the decision makers, whether they actually decide to have them do some sort of evaluation on that, or to take any of the testing.
Like psycho-evaluation.
Yeah.
Assessment. Oh.
So most of the parents here at this school are not wanting to do it because they don't want the stigma of their child needing some sort of help. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I could in other schools or in other.
I think it's the
see.
same way in most schools, but this school particularly because of the stigma associated with it. Anyway, but me having children of my own, a lot of times I'm able to get them to understand that it's not a bad thing. Sometimes, and a lot of these children are very bright, but they have a learning disability, which is making it hard for them to succeed in a grade situation type school.
So sometimes they need like some strategies too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what okay, and so if we have like some students, so we're talking about the requirements before referral is made, like the evaluations, assessments, and so as we said, like a psycho evaluation assessment could be used, or
yeah. So we had one student who had basically failed 3 quarters in a row, or 2 quarters in a row, and was about ready to fail the third quarter in a row, which means that they would be exited from the school. In the SST meeting, we had suggested the psycho evaluation, but the parents refused. Then when it was told to them, if he qualifies, then he gets 4 quarters rather than 3 quarters, and that's when they decided to finally take it. He didn't pass the 3rd quarter, but he did end up needing to receive services after taking the psycho evaluation. And this quarter, he's all gung-ho and is doing much better in his classes. And so
he's now receiving the LS.
Yes, he has, and now he's receiving the learning support services, which has helped tremendously in him being able to keep better organization with his materials and things like that. He might make it now. So anyway,
well, yeah.
Still, but you know, it's something that I think that family might help others to receive the services and
Yeah, because we have
help
other
their
students.
student out. Yeah, there's quite a few.
Quite. If he got the learning support services, so what do you think, like, what other teachers should do, like his classroom teachers, his subjects teachers could help in that part, like?
Well, that's why we have this, so that we know, okay, he's needing help in like 4 out of his 8 classes, and so he needs to do after school sessions so that we can help him to succeed. But knowing that being as there's only 2 after school sessions a week, that means that he's maybe not going to be able to get to all of us every week. And so just to maybe make some other times that we can meet with him and help him to succeed.
Okay, so it could be lunchtime.
Yeah,
during
could be
break time.
lunchtime, during breaks. Yeah.
Okay. And so, like, during the SST meetings, like, how it starts, what the things, like, you will discuss about it, what do you have evidence or for
Yes,
that?
so at the SST, the counselor comes in and explains any behavioral things that may be going on with the student. Doesn't discuss anything personal that might be having been discussed with them, but behavioral that is written on the school behavior notices and things like that. Also, the how they did in the map testing. And then each of the teachers are there with how they're performing in the classes, so that we can then see, hey, it's the same kind of behavior in all of the classes. What can we maybe do? With the one student that we talked about earlier, one of the teachers had praised him about something and then noticed that he started working a lot better after that. And so...
Good morning. How are
Hey.
you? Good.
This is
Oh, another student. Okay.
okay, but this is only your part,
Oh,
and this is the English
got it.
teacher's
So
part.
do I get it to her afterwards?
You don't have to worry about that. Just send me an email. I'll come pick it up and give it to Karen.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
The one teacher had noticed that when he gave him praise about something, all of a sudden he started to do more things. He started to participate a little bit more and things like that. And so that's some of the thing. That's what this teacher had suggested, and I know I tried it with the student, and it actually did make a difference. And so, anyway, it's good to get together to be able to see how what other strategies have been used that have been successful.
That's great. And I don't know if this is related to like what's happening at our school. Like, how long is the SST strategies implementing? But we're talking about like after.
Yeah. Typically at this school, it's not until they're about ready to be exited. And most of the time, it's more than halfway through the 3rd quarter, which means they really only have half of a quarter to try to not fail before being exited. And so, anyway, I think it's a little too late. I know the 9th grade teachers had gotten together knowing that the class that was coming in was weak, and we were wanting to get some strategies together to help the students to succeed and have documentation in this class misbehaving, in this class misbehaving, and just put in little checks and stuff.
There was a form or something like that you
There was going to be a form. We did end up doing a form that we don't think is the best, but at least we were able to write how they were performing in our classes.
For each student.
Yeah, but we were wanting to do it because we knew the behaviors of these kids, that, you know, they were acting out in class. They were disrespectful. All of the different things, so that we had a running documentation, and all we had to do is take a look at it and say, hey, you know, in this class 23 times or whatever.
No.
So,
Okay.
but
So all of these documents like will be like discussed during the SST
yeah,
meetings. Do the parents are involved in these meetings? Like
the
do they-
parents will be informed after the meeting.
Oh.
They're typically informed before we have the meeting, and then the results of they meet after we meet, in order to get the results of the meeting, what the teachers suggest can help with the students doing better.
But they don't need to be in the meeting. They
In,
don't-
not at any of them that we have been in.
Oh, okay.
However, a lot of times afterwards, there will be a meeting with the parent
Admins
and the teachers.
And the teachers.
Yeah. But that's parent directed,
Yeah.
if the parent is
Okay.
wanting that.
Okay, so
However, if they do get learning support services, then we have meetings quite regularly with the parents and the student.
okay, and what about the ILP? Their ILP
Yeah,
goals,
and
so gonna
it's
be-
basically turned into an ILP rather than an SST, unless they are struggling with their grades. Then it's sort of both.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay. If we could talk about like so like report cards, progress report, right? So all of like been shared with the students. So also these documents should be mentioned in the like
Right, and typically that's why each teacher is there, because then the teacher can say, first quarter they failed, second quarter they barely passed, third quarter they failed again, so that we can sort of see the running history of the student.
Okay, and that's it.
And then after this, the students are then required to have a grade report,
Grade report.
and each teacher is to fill it out, what grade they have, are they attending class, are they behaving well in class.
That's after this.
Yeah, that's after the SST, and then if there's any missing homework, and then the admin, if there is missing homework, then they don't accept the paper that's filled out each week until they have gotten their homework up.
Does the student have to sign a form, or like he will?
Well,
I don't.
I believe so, but that's not done with us, that's done
Oh.
with the administration. I believe that the parents and the student have to sign saying that they understand that their student or that their child may be dismissed from the school if things don't change.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my
Thanks for your
pleasure.
time.
Good
Thank
luck.
you. Thanks.